Domnule Keshe, domnule Giovanni, vă mulțumim pentru bunăvoința de a veni la noi în cadrul Școlii de Yoga MISA, care a fost întemeiată de către ghidul nostru spiritual, Gregorian Bivolaru. Și să știți că veți fi întotdeauna bineveniți la noi. Ghidul nostru spiritual nu este aici acum din cauza faptului că a îndrăznit să ridice glasul și să publice materiale în care a dezvăluit planurile criminale ale așa zișilor iluminați și este supus aceleași prigoane pe care o suportați și dumneavoastră, cu atentate, înscenări, denigrare în presă, etc. Știm în mod direct de la ghidul nostru spiritual că vă prețuiește enorm și vă consideră un mare geniu de talia lui Albert Einstein și Nikola Tesla. Invențiile dumneavoastră nemaipomenite sunt în totalitate trecute sub tăcere de mass media, doar pentru că așa zi și iluminați au dat ordine secrete în acest sens, ordine ce se respectă cu strictețe. Dânsul consideră că aveți merite excepționale prin faptul că aveți curajul de a dezvălui în mod gratuit spre binele tuturor unele chei și secrete ale acestor noi tehnologii care fac deja cu putință ca oamenii să aibă cu ușurință acces la ceea ce în mod curent se numește energia liberă și gratuită, free energy. Aceste descoperiri uluitoare au fost deja confirmate ca atare de foarte mulți oameni care, pe baza indicațiilor practice care le-au fost oferite, în mod dezinteresat de dumneavoastră, și-au construit personal astfel de aparate care funcționează și care le procură energie gratuită. Ghidul nostru spiritual a mai spus că descoperirile dumneavoastră revoluționare au trezit deja o mare frică în gruparea satanică a așa zișilor iluminați, tocmai de aceea ei au încercat de mai multe ori să vă asasineze. Descoperirile dumneavoastră epocale sunt de natură să revoluționeze din temelii nu numai știința, ci și cunoașterea umană. Faptul că v-ați făcut deja cunoscute invențiile și chiar le-ați oferit în mod gratuit iar actualmente sute de mii de oameni le pot pune în practică, fie singuri acasă, fie în grup, va crea în timp un val transformator imens care nu va putea fi niciodată oprit în viitor. În plus, mai putem adăuga că toate aceste descoperiri, în mod evident, extraordinare ne pun la dispoziție prin anumite aparate simple și ingenioase energia imensă, nesfârșită și enigmatică a eterului Akasha, care ni se revelează în mod gradat prin practica yoga avansată, mai ales prin dinamizarea armonioasă a centrului subtil de forță, Vishuddha Chakra. Prin intermediul acestor noi și geniale descoperiri epocale, omenirea de pe planeta Pământ pășește într-o nouă eră, ce va face în curând cu putință un important salt calitativ ce este de natură să anihileze la nivel planetar influența satanică a așa zișilor iluminați. Vă mulțumim din nou că ați venit și în continuare vom asculta cu încântare răspunsurile dumneavoastră pline de umor și inteligență genială. Mulțumim.
Thank you very much for being here. As we were coming to Romania, I said to Giovanni, we're going all the way, and see if they want, we can give a talk to a few people, or at least we can discuss. I was not expecting that many. I was expecting maybe 5 or 10 people. It's nice to see you. The first time we came across people like you was about a year ago when a number of your people came to Barletta, we met, and I thought, these guys talk a lot. I wonder if they do a lot. And I've come to see you do a lot. I am of a belief that every man has to be given an opportunity. Doesn't mean because we don't understand it is wrong. We came here to see a Romanian inventor. And in that process, we have a spare time. That's why we are here. And thank you very much for coming here in such a short time. As some of you might know who we are and how we operate, I made my foundation reachable by every man on this planet. We don't look at the color, race. We don't look at the religion. We don't look at the way you've been educated. The most advanced Keshe Foundation scientists are the people who have never been to a school. But they understand the technology, they understand the essence of it, they understand the spirit of it, and they work. One of the leading scientists, developers in Keshe Foundation is a hairdresser. He came from London, African, and he understood the technology. And now he has Keshe Foundation Nigeria and is one of the leading guys in Nigeria. He's touching a lot of people in Africa. We have made it that the knowledge becomes classless. And this creates a lot of problem for a lot of people. In so many ways, we teach freely, and this is how it should be, even if you learn from here. I was just explaining in the car when we were coming here. For years, they didn't let us commercialize, to bring the technology out for people to see it. Every time we tried, they blocked us. They've blown my car up. I've been shot at high-speed motorways. I've been poisoned. And every other way, imagine they've tried to stop me. But as I said something to Giovanni today, something is protecting us. And now, by moving to Italy, they thought they can stop the technology because they were controlling it in Belgium. We got bigger. Now the institute is running. If you are doctors here, if you do practice alternative medicine, join the Keshe Foundation KFSSI as doctors. Every Wednesday afternoon, doctors from across the world get together and they learn and they teach each other what they've learned to use the technology. And this has changed a lot. If you're an agriculturist, if you're a farmer, join the teaching on Wednesday mornings. You'll learn from other agriculturists around the world, scientists who do work. But when I came to Italy, they were hoping that I'll die with the technology after they poisoned me. But in being in Italy, gave me an opportunity to open the doors for the rest of the continent. And we sent people out from Keshe Foundation into Africa, in South America, in Asia. And one of these guys who was stranded in Austria went to Ghana. He served the Ghanaian people the way the foundation is, sharing knowledge unconditionally, treating himself as, even he's a highly educated university guy, as a normal guy. And through our connections, we placed him in the right place. And now what, if you are seeing, we have opened one of the most powerful Keshe Foundation organizations in our structure, where now we have become part of the government organization. Keshe Foundation now is company sharing with the Ghana Energy Atomic Commission. I'm a nuclear physicist. So for them to accept a nuclear physicist to become part of the Ghana Atomic was a natural process. We did, we established companies. Now, in the past 2 months, we have built a very strong factory base. And as was said, Illuminatis did everything to eliminate us, but the more they tried to cut the roots, the more leaves came out. Now we have, and we will launch in the next few days, we've been given land to build the first spaceship launch pad in the world. The land is given to us freely, worth millions, by the government. We have the factory inside the military nuclear zone, which means it was against everything they wanted to do. They wanted to make the technology die. Now we are protected. Our factory is the only factory in the world which is inside the military zone, protected by 3 layers of police and securities, and we produce what you do in your kitchens. With gases, we make pads, we make energy systems, and now we sit with the government. The situation has changed. And this now allows the Keshe Foundation, as an international organization within the Atomic Energy Commission, to deliver technologies. We got to the point that now in Ghana, and now starts through the whole of Africa, that Keshe Foundation, we're building one of the most advanced research centers in the world, in Ghana. And our partner is the government. And the way this gentleman we sent to Ghana to work was just to introduce the technology, show them how to make gases. But this guy went a step further. He made gases. People came with a cancer, he helped them. People came with diabetic, he helped them. He came with any diseases, he helped them. The managers of Atomic Commission, they need an energy supply, which is unusual. Atomic energy should have a free energy, but all the directors received exactly one of your maggraph systems you have at home in their homes. So when I went to give a conference 5 months ago, they didn't need any explanation because I did a very clever thing. In a conference like this for 3 days, with all the top scientists of the country available, present, I took a microphone and I stuck it on the nose of one of the directors. And I said, excuse me, madam, there's a lot of rumors about Keshe Foundation system doesn't work, but I know, as one of the heads of the Atomic, you have one of my maggraph systems in your house. She's a doctor. She's a well-known woman in the international scene. Her husband is a nuclear engineer working in atomic. I said, do you mind telling me how much you used to pay for electricity? She said, 200 cedi. I said, can you tell us now, with the system in your house, how much you're paying? 30 cedi. The husband said, you don't say that, you don't say that. I said, there are other managements here from Ghana Atomic Commission. We know you all save 70, 80%. And we didn't need to sell. Because what we call echelon of the country in atomic and nuclear, in control of the health, already been touched by a man, a simple man, Ghanaian himself. The technology has passed point of approval. Now we have submitted the paint pens you make, the waters you make, the gases, to the FDA. We have given it to the standard board which controls the whole structure of the, more or less, Ghana and then beyond it. And we received certification, confirmation of the technology is correct just only yesterday. So from end of this month, you can go to Ghana and start receiving any kind of water you forbidden in the West, which you think is going to help you with whatever. But the strange thing is, our factory is inside secure military zone. The officers allow normal people to come through the military zone, through the nuclear center, to receive the waters, which within 3 days changes diabetic. Within 5 days, we see blood pressure changes. Within 30 days, we see changes in HIV. And now, the whole structure of the country has bypassed any regulation regarding Keshe Foundation products. We've been told you do not need to submit any more application. Submit the system, tell us how it works. We check it, if it's safe, it's certified. We pass the border. In the next 7 days, 10 days, I'll be traveling to Middle East. Governments in Middle East have accepted technology to be developed by their countries. We've broken through. Doesn't matter how much pressure is put by the West, by Illuminatis or whatever, it's worked to our benefit. I thank them, and this annoys them more. The enemies, you thank them for serving you better. It has done better for us. The strength comes from people who do the job. I've been told by the national securities, we have something like 400 million visitors on the Keshe Foundation worldwide website. That covers more or less 0.5, at least a big potential of people who are educated and have access to it. But the problem is, use the technology to serve people. Don't use the technology just to benefit yourselves. This is what I always say. In Atomic Ghana, people walk through all the offices, don't ask for people's security, who you are. They just say, you're sick. He says, I'm sick, I've got such and such this. They just direct them 1.5 kilometers down the road, says, that is where you're going to be through the second security room. Tell them you're coming to see Keshe, the doors are open. They just register, they just walk in. They come, I have this disease. We have opened the factory and a table. They just take the medicine. They come back next day, 2 days. It's worked. It works. And this is how it should be. It should be a door open that no government, no security services can stop serving. We are decided to make a video. If you see how many people walk, high-ranking military officers, security guards, directors of the companies, international companies, they just walk in. I have a diabetic, can I help? 3 bottles, it costs less than €5, changes the whole diabetic problem. And this is how effective we become. And this is how you should become. I was explaining on the way to here, you saw us putting the Magraph system for €500, you saw the pads for whatever. This was just to show that the technology works. Now that we have broken into international governmental levels, the technology should become $1 or $2 technology, reach of everybody, irrespective of position. This is what we are doing in Ghana. And in next couple of months, you will see all the Keshe Foundation organizations will go that way. Cancer can be changed in 30, 60 days. We have videos which shows it's done. Diabetic, you don't need to suffer to lose a leg or an arm or go blind. It costs less than $2 to change it. And you all make it in your kitchens. You all do it in your bedrooms. This is how simple it is. When I gave a lecture, the first lecture in the 3-day conference to the atomic nuclear physicists and the military in Ghana, I saw a resistance, even they were using it. I said to them, you know, there is a problem with you lot. You're all worried about your titles. You're all Dr. So-and-so in atomic, you're Dr. So-and-so or Professor so-and-so or Engineer so-and-so, and you are all atomic or nuclear. You still keep your titles. Your title doesn't change anymore because we were all metallurgists. 10, 100 years ago, 80 years ago, we became atomic. So we became all atomic engineers. 60, 70 years ago, all became nuclear. Now we were all nuclear physicists. And the only reason you respect us as a nuclear physicist because you know we can kill a lot of you in one go, and we showed it to you in Hiroshima. The only respect you have, the fear from us, is a Hiroshima. Otherwise, we are the ordinary scientists like the rest of scientific organization. But now, the technology has gone to the next step, is the plasma. And plasma is friendly. So you doctors here are worried you're going to lose your title as a nuclear physicist or engineers or whatever. Now you are atomic, nuclear, plasma physicist. It was accepted, it's done. Now we elevated ourselves, so the opposition is finished. This is the beauty, the way it's handled. Not to fight, but to understand where the concerns are. Doesn't matter psychologically, doesn't matter medically, doesn't matter space-wise. A lot of people, you will hear in the coming time, have a lot of concern about our energy system. The new energy system has been released yesterday, again in Ghana. We achieved 95% reduction. We run this for 4 weeks. We introduced a second system to it, and hopefully, if we achieve 100% with the second system, we release it internationally as a generator. You can literally play football with it. It can be made a pocket size in the next 6 months, 12 months. It delivers as much energy as you need at home. It doesn't have a limit of 2 or 3 kilowatt. If at home you use 10 kilowatt, you still get 90% reduction of the 10 kilowatt. If you use 1 kilowatt, you still get reduction of 90% in 1 kilowatt. You don't need to store energy. It taps in the energy of the universe. And this week and next week, we release 900 units across Africa in Ghana for government officials. It's used in presidential palace. We deliver. We have been given access in a very high places because there is a key to take this technology out. You can oppose the technology as an energy, you can oppose it as a space, but the human body has a big problem, it gets sick. And you can use it in a health application, and you cannot deny it because it's you who's doing it. The technology has been used by some of the most highly known individuals in the world. But they cannot speak about it because then they go against the trend. It doesn't matter. It matters that public can use it. And from now on, you will see, it should be your job, if you live here and you work here, to bring the products to be in every shop. not at 70, 80 euro for a pain pad, but at 2 or 3 euro, a man has the same pain, feels the same pain as a king. It's common to all of us. Why should a rich man afford 80, 90 euro pain pad, where 80 cents, 1 euro pain pad does the same job? We release new way to do Keshe Foundation materials from this week on. That it was our wish, that's why we opened the patents, for people to have access to the knowledge. We released it now internationally, openly, never been done before. Now, from this week, next week, we release the use of pads internationally. You all can do it. But learn one thing, when you give it with a hope. Don't just give it this another piece I've made has to go. When you make a pad, when you make anything to do with Keshe Foundation, when you even teach it from the soul, not from the body of the man. This is what we do. In Ghana, the reason we are so successful is I went against the trend of the world. We are part of Ghana Atomic Commission, and Ghana Atomic Commission has its own university. I could employ people off the street, pay very, very little wages, and make a very successful company. I went and I employed the highest educated. We only employ masters and PhDs and doctorates. And they clean the floor, they make the paint pads, they make the energy units, they do everything. And even the cleaner in the factory has a degree in petroleum. I said to the government, it's very easy. You educate people, they cannot find a job. They take on the boats and half of them die on the high seas because they're trying to get to somewhere that they get a job or they have a respect for what they studied. Now we hold them home. We pay European wages in Africa. And now we have a queue of scientists who want to join. They don't need to leave. I don't need to make, this is what I explained to the Chinese government, I live my ethos. In China, people leave their family for months, 11 months a year, to work somewhere, to get some wages, for us in the West to have a cheap Chinese product, without thinking what damage we do to the child of the Chinaman in his house, but it's without the father and mother all his life, because we want cheap things. Why should a child, a family suffer for us to have cheap here? Why don't we pay the real value? In Ghana, we pay the real value. So Ghanaians don't need to take on the boats anymore. We pay high wages, more or less 10 times national average. But the money stays in the country. The money creates new jobs. They spend the money, so the community comes up. So the structure goes the same way. Try to understand in whatever, if you're connected to Keshe Foundation, you've got to live the ethos of Keshe Foundation. It's not to rob and steal. It doesn't work. Our workers now increased to about 400 in next 3 months. We've been given huge amount of land to build the first launch pad. We put the banner up. I don't know if you can go on the Keshe Foundation links. It was released last week. You can fly to space from Accra. And the African tell me, us? I said, is there something wrong with you? How can we do? Why not Romania? If you think of it, why not? Why not every one of us have access? It has to become a choice, not the wealth and a swimming pool you call yourself astronauts from NASA. This is where the dimension is going. We have no choice. We release so much knowledge. That is the ultimate. This is the ultimate goal we're going to. And it's not for your child or your grandchild. In next 12 months, any of you can go into space. from here. Technology is shared, the knowledge is shared. The only thing is you have to learn the ethos. Then Bucuresti, Accra, Rome, Paris, anywhere in the world is the same. The reason you think is funny, it will not happen, is because we have not learned about the working of our own system, which is our own body. And they have made it so hard for us to trust in ourselves that now anything comes, can I see a peer review? Can somebody else tell me they know more than me? I'm so stupid that I'm going to accept somebody else's writing. Evaluate things yourself. Everything you do, you can, because I have a rule. I say, if you're the last man standing in a space and you get a disease, you don't write back to Earth, is the FDA approved if I do this to stay alive? Can I get the certification before I inject myself with a plasma from another dimension that I can survive? This is the reality. In Africa, we have a case which is one of our strongest point of support. He has changed everything. This gentleman is a very high-ranking priest. He's a well-known priest. High blood pressure, 220 over 16. In the United States, they were trying to save his life. For 2-3 months there, they couldn't do much. The daughter working in atomic says, there is a guy with the new water. If you come here, I know they can help you. With all the medicine in the United States, with all the FDA approval, they could not do anything for him. They fly him at a high blood pressure back to Ghana, walks to Benjamin. Benjamin makes the water for him. 3 days later, 16 over 9. And now stays. Wherever he goes, he says, I'm the real example. You all knew. When we had the FDA coming to the Ghana Atomic to see what we do, it was a fantastic experience. They say we do not accept citation, we do not accept people telling us. But the funny thing is, when they came, the inspectors came standing, 4 of them, they brought a patient with them too. I said, if you're inspectors and you haven't approved, you haven't even submitted, they said, this technology works. This woman has a broken arm, they can't do anything for months, can you help? No problem. We made a patch for her. A week later, she says, everything is working, is back. They said, we want approval. We said, no problem. How many do you want? We start calling staff across the atomic, security guards, diabetic. And as they came, because they're of the same structure, some of them, they knew they were old friends. He says, really? Has the diabetic gone in 5 days? Yes. Mr. Keshe, you don't need to do anything. We see it through. If you work and walk away from even your enemies with a good wish, it'll come back to you. Don't think what they do wrong with it. Imagine whatever they do wrong is the right for you. Teach the technology freely and use it freely because it's part of you. We will release huge number of ways to use the plasma across the world that will destroy the pharmaceutical industry in a very big way in the next few weeks. This was the biggest nightmare they had. Because you cannot dictate what I do in my house. And secondly, if you see our products in Ghana, it's literally like this. You buy a bottle, and it has different lines. They didn't understand what we did. Maji in Swahili in African means water. Now we call it plasmaji, which is CO2. We call it ramaji, which is the copper water. We call it zigmaji, and we call it magmaji, which is magnesium. And we tell people, you on the street, you buy it. If you drink it on its own, it's normal water. They've tested it. FDA officers, they were talking to each other in an international conference, which are discussing our things with all the management. The top man turned around to the other guy. He says, do you know what's the problem with the water they make? It's purer than the water we use for injections. We have to use this from now on. Because not only doesn't carry bacteria, it doesn't even get bacteria. So we are going out, selling 5 different names of water like this. You buy it on the street for less than 2 or 3 pounds. And we don't say anything. We teach. Different name has different beauty. If you use Plasmagy with the other one, it can be helpful for diabetic. We got to the point now, in Ghana there is about 6 million, they say, of diabetics. Very bad condition. We put the waters with a leaflet, how to drink the water, and they come, they get a carrier bag. Now the medicine has become water in a carrier bag. Reach of anyone. This is where we should go. We showed the technology works, and we sold the technology very expensive to make sure they know it's there. Now, from now on, the technology has to come out of a bottle. We use the same bottle you will see in the coming time for the space technology. Because the energy is hidden within it. We use the same water. We use it in the energy application. And I sat with the top man in the country a few days ago. And he said, how is this possible that we do not know this technology? I said, because they made sure you don't know, because you make a lot of bribes to buy nuclear reactors and solar cells. African nations cannot pay 10 billion. This is the cost of a nuclear reactor today. If you buy about 1,200 megawatt nuclear reactor, the cost for IEA has put at 10 billion today. By the time it's finished, in 10 years' time, if they allow you to have it, they don't take you for a run, ends up with $20 billion. The problem is not that 20 billion. I'm a nuclear physicist. I work for British Nuclear Fuel, and we looked at the contamination and decommissioning. You run a reactor at a very high cost for 20, 30 years. Who makes the money? The guy who sold you the pieces from the beginning. But the story doesn't finish there. Decommissioning will cost 100 billion. You thought you bought a nuclear reactor for 20 billion, but in fact, the nation will pay 150 to 200 billion at the end of it. That's dollars. Still, in British Nuclear Fuel, we have not found how to decommission a reactor without any waste. Keshe Foundation at the moment is speaking to governors of Arizona. They asked for help. We didn't go to help. Arizona is dumping, all the nuclear waste is dumped in Arizona. Most of the military nuclear waste, and the governor says, I don't want it here. And as you know, one of the top advisors and shareholders in Keshe Foundation USA is Colonel Hankey, one of the top. A colonel is given the ranking by the Senate, not by the president. And he's on the board of the Keshe Foundation. He's one of my advisors, and he lives in Arizona. Technology is here. Now, even the Americans hate us. Now they are looking into Keshe Foundation, how we can decontaminate. It costs billions. Nuclear industry is not cheap, but if you go to the next step, what actually makes the nuclear, which is the plasma in this water, is the friendliest thing you ever seen. It helps you with everything, but you have to find out how to use it. You have to develop the way, and once you developed it, it's a crime to keep it to yourself. Share it, because there could be somebody else who you can save a life of. They tell me I talk a lot, I teach a lot, and I can make a lot of money out of it. It's okay, because I don't live a poor life, I never sleep hungry, and thanks God I'm still alive up to now. But share the knowledge. Understand there is one thing, beauty with this thing, with what you call GANs, and that is follows the law of the universe. You cannot take more than what you need. A GANS, plasma water, never can harm, because if you don't need it, you don't receive the energy from it. It's the structure of the body of the man. And this is the secret about it. So, you want me to tell you how, if you're diabetic, you want to help yourself? If you are suffering from high blood pressure, don't forget, we never ask anyone to donate to the foundation, but donate your time to teach it. You need to take 30 to 60 ml of CH3 in the morning and afternoon for a week. Then, after a week, you just go for a morning for a week or two. But at night, you take 30 ml of CO2, GANS plasma, and 30 to 60 ml of zinc oxide. That's all it takes. In 5 days, you walk away from diabetic. If I can go to prison for this, so be it, but at least it helps a lot of people. If you have a high blood pressure, follow the structure through CO2 and zinc oxide. Always zinc oxide at night before you sleep, because it relaxes the neurosystem, body finds the balance where it wants. You wake up 5 days later with a normal blood pressure. And it holds. It's not a medicine that you have to keep on taking it to stay. Once the body learns, after 2 or 3 months, you're back to normal. This is how cheap it is. With a few dollars, you stop cutting legs and arms for diabetic. How much money you spend in the hospitals for diabetic getting blind and everything else? It's the same with the energy production. Learn it, teach it, and don't worry, I'm going to lose money if I'm a doctor. There'll be more coming because they've seen you doing a miracle. They come more for more miracles. But learn how to use it. One of our biggest problem in Ghana was one of the top guy. And he caused a lot of problem when I went there. The first few weeks, I had enormous amount of problem. Around December, he came to me and said, Mr. Keshe, I have a problem. Can you help me? I said, what can I do? He said, my wife is blind, both eyes. She got blind because of operation about 2 years ago. She doesn't see anything. And I've been told you do miracles. I said, I don't do miracle. I know the knowledge. I sat next to the woman. I looked at her. I got the information I wanted to get. I went back to the factory. I made the water and the patch I knew. We met her a couple of times. He came on Monday because he knew on Friday I'm leaving Ghana. He said, you have to come and see me and my wife. There is some big problem. I said, but not today. Tomorrow if you come, we go. Don't forget, he is nobody higher than him than the security of the whole Atomic Commission. He's the highest man in the whole lot. We went to his house again, seeing the wife. As we walked through the door, the wife sits at the end of the room. She said, I can see you, you're coming in. I see your shadow. I sat next to her, and she goes like this to me. I can see you, I can feel you. Thank you very much for giving my eyes back. I see red, I see blue. She said, do you know the worst thing is? I woke up this morning, I could see him next to me, I can see his shadow. I said, was he beautiful? He says, I don't say that yet. And total cost to give a sight back is less than 50 cents. That's the beauty of it. She says, you know, I could never see my foot. Now I put here, I see the shadow of my foot. I just don't smell, I see it too. I can just about to see. So in the next few months, she'll get her sight back. Why should we charge millions of dollars for it now that the technology is complete? We do the same. People were going for the source for amputation, for diabetic. and they've been told to be ready for amputation. There are soldiers marching around Ghana Atomic Commission protecting us. This is the beauty of it. The guy is a senior officer protecting the boundaries, and he marches in and says, "Without you, I couldn't walk," you see? And it's all cost less than 50 cents. We have found a solution for typhoid, which is killing a lot of people in Africa. It cost nothing. It just took me 2 seconds. I knew what it is. The scientists explained to me what is the pattern of typhoid. I made a drink. The guy says, "I've been to the doctors. There is no sign of it. It's gone." So I don't hide. I don't block. I share. And the beauty of it is, people in Ghana say, we hear, they say, a change has come, but they're keeping it to elite. Because only in the high levels know. Before I leave on Friday, I went to see my counterpart on the atomic, because we become part of Atomic Commission. I went to see my counterpart to say goodbye, I'm going away. He said, "There is a problem, Mr. Keshe." I said, "Yes, what's the problem, Professor?" He said, "The minister has been asked in the select committee, in the parliament, what is this new technology which is kept secret from the nation in atomic?" We met the minister 3 weeks before. He says, "I don't know, but we get full detail." So the government has appointed a committee inside the atomic to go and represent us for the whole nation. That now the nation wants, because everybody else has it. This is how it's changing. I hear about your leader. I've been there many times. They kept me 11 days incarcerated in Canada, in the airport, afraid of anybody knowing. And every morning the officer came to me and he said, "Mr. Keshe, if anyone finds out you leak information, we are holding you here, we put a bullet in your head." Every morning for 11 days, they called my sister, she lives in Canada, said, "If you report to anyone that we are holding him here in Toronto airport, he'll be dead." She used to cry, "Please don't kill him." I've been there. I know exactly how he feels. I've been there many, many times. Even in our trip to Accra, they tried to bring the plane down, that we do not reach Africa. And it was so obvious that they planned to bring the plane as a crash down. We watched it. It will not stop. The silencing of scientists is part of the structure. As you know, Keshe Foundation has security structure. Now we have unraveled how Illuminatis, what you call them, or the people who are trying to steal technologies, how they kill, how they stop people. The highest officers in the patent office, they steal the technology, they take it out because it's under control. They get one of them or some of them to rewrite the patent for themselves, or they copy the technology, and then they intimidate the inventor or the finder to give the rights to them, otherwise they kill them. Now we have found 4 scientists killed this way. And we have given all the details to the police, and there are 4 agencies working together, 5 agencies bringing everything together, because now Holland is involved, Belgium is involved, United States is involved, Italy is involved, and they collaborate together to kill scientists. And we know how. We have found the officers who do the job. The officer sits as a royal officer in a Belgian government, answerable only to the king. His name is Delanois. And they created their own prosecutor that they intimidate scientists with a policeman to take. And if you don't do, they kill. This is how the structure works. But luckily, up to now, we managed to share knowledge. We found the officer who steals the technology, and we published it last week. What I tell you is not something new. It's something which is published in past 2-3 weeks. And most probably, your leader falls in the same pattern. People who find new, they block. They find all sorts of ways to trying to stop. Learn one thing, if you're correct, you end up correct. It doesn't matter what they do. I don't promote anything against the government. I say pray for them. You eliminate them. They get enlightened. But in the countries like this, the first time I came to Romania was in around 1990s, just about a few months after Ceausescu was murdered or killed or whatever you call it. I spent 2 weeks here on a very high level, very, very high level. I got to know a lot at that time. This is my second trip here after 20-odd years. And I've seen the structure, how they will struggle not to give up, and I've seen the structure, how people try to work like a kamikaze underground to oppose. The only way it is, the time, the way of working has to change. There is no more kamikaze. If you understand that your body is made of energies which touches the soul of another, give from your soul, you will change them. And that's the only way you can do. Knowledge to be shared freely, technology to be shared freely. If it doesn't work, it's because we haven't understood how. If you find a new way, don't hide it in the pocket. If you share it, you find out you learn more. You're being given a gift. And this is the secret. And this is why most of the scientists in the world disappear, because they don't share. Or if they share, it has a value. Understand, we all come from one thing and we end up with one thing. We are all created out of water. The reason a lot of people are turning back on understanding more the way they were forced to, and they understand more the way we teach, is very simple. We have never understood ourselves. We cannot blame the others for our mistakes, for our misunderstanding. We never understood how we are created as human beings. And not understanding has led one mistake to another, over hundreds of thousands of millions of years. The reason what we do is strange is now we understand the truth about our own creation. How are we created? Why are we created the way we are created? I teach this many times. I repeat it today in a different way because scientists understand immediately. Your doctors here, your scientists here. If I ask you a simple question, what is the structure of the human body? Your DNA, your RNA, your every cell. I'm sure you all talk one word, amino acid. Everything is connected to the amino acid. But ask yourself, what is amino acid? They tell you a simple formula. Nitrogen, hydrogen, carbon, and oxygen. That's your amino acid. But ask the next step question. Isn't this supposed to be all the gases in this planet? What we breathe every day? So our life, our existence above the surface of this planet is built of the gases which makes it. They have to come to a combination, that combination creates the basis of life, amino acid. Now we understand the secret of creation of ourselves. But now, this planet is 2 levels. It has another structure, the solid surface. The solid surface is minerals, is metals. What happened when you mix a mineral with this amino acid, which is the gaseous part? But You can put a sugar and salt together, nothing happens. Till you put it in the water, which you allow it to dissolve. Now put this amino acid with the metals and minerals in the salt water, you call it the sea and the ocean. What happens when the amino acid links up with the iron? It makes blood, hemoglobin. So now we understand for the first time how we became to be created, how our blood has come. Add, keep it in the salt water, zinc, magnesium, copper, and the rest. You find zinc connects to your neurosystem. That's how our neurosystem came. Zinc is the creator of our muscles. Calcium, it became our bone. But they didn't come. You don't eat calcium to become a calcium on your bone. You eat calcium in a condition that in the atmosphere of your body becomes a plasma, and it transfers to where it needs it to become a plasma of one thing you call bone or another thing you call muscle tissue. So now for the first time we understand the secret of life on this planet. Never been understood before. So if I want to reach you, you have a psychological problem. Where does it come from? There is something wrong with the amino acid connection with the zinc. You have a problem with your muscle tissue. There is something with the amino acid and copper. Now a child can play the game of God. That's how simple it is. We never understood how we are created, and we accepted any rubbish. You don't believe it? Walk outside. Buy yourself a copper plate. Buy yourself a zinc plate. Spend 1 cent, buy some salt. Spend a few more cents, buy yourself caustic, which is NaOH. Put a copper plate in NaOH in the hot water that it boils. You know what the NaOH is? All the ladies know. You clean your toilets with it. That's how cheap it is. You know the material you buy and you put it in the toilet and it bubbles and it opens the hole? You're all now nuclear physicists and the plasma physicists. Take the plate, as you can read on the internet, make your GANs, make your nanomaterial. Then, when you put your plates in the salt water, the same, you replicate the condition of the earth. You make available copper, you make available iron, you make available salt, and introduce a metal, rust metal in one corner. You will see blood drops. You create pure blood. Test done by scientists, they call it the hemoglobin, which fits into everything if it's done the right way. So now create a condition with everything else, you can create anything you like. In China, in North China Sea, every winter there is a snow. On one part of the North China Sea, the land is very rich with atomic iron. When the rain comes, it brings the amino acid which is created in the atmosphere in touch with the iron. When the summer comes, spring comes, and the salt and the water gets washed into the sea with the amino acid, you find a lot of life in North China Sea. This is how it's so rich with the fish. They come to eat what life starts as an amoeba. All we do in these containers is the same thing, but now we understand it. They say South Atlantic is rich with the fish. Do you know why? If you live in Africa, there is a season where we get a red dust storm. The red dust comes from Sahara in the middle of Africa, washes the whole of the west coast, and it ends up in millions of tons in Atlantic. The sea has the same thing as you have in your buckets you make the ganses. Aluminium, copper, zinc is part of it. So it continuously absorbs amino acid from the environment. It creates amino acid the way it comes on the top. The sea level turns it, the iron arrives from Africa, almost created, rich with life. Now we understand the whole history of creation of man on this planet. And the rest is evolution. And as I taught in past 2-3 weeks in most of the teaching, the evolution, you are blue, you have black hair, you got a slightly darker skin, comes from our emotion in respect to the environment we live. So now we understand even how we can change ourselves. If you understand how the soul works, and the essence of the creation of man is his soul, which is in the center of his brain. As the energy changes with the emotion, manifests the man in the skin of the color it is. Because if you understand this simple process that the soul of the man is within the center of his own brain, and the emotion dictates how, as the field changes, the physicality of the man, in a space, you don't need a spacesuit. You change your skin, you change your, what we call astronaut suit of this planet to where you land. That's how you become man of space. Now we understand it. It's for us to solve the biggest mystery of life, which we thought, where is our soul? A soul is like a sun. It radiates constantly energy. It is accumulated from the accumulation of all the cells of the body of the man, and its place is in the center. I can show you where your cell is if you give an MRI. We have seen one.
Yes.
The position of the soul of the man is dictated by the structure of the brain. When it radiates fields out, the structure of the brain dictates which field to what strength, and that strength, you call it, this position is responsible for the fear. This part of the brain is responsible for a hand and an arm. What comes from the center in reducing in the strength at this point becomes the strength of your finger, your tip of finger, and all positions. So if you can control your emotion, you can control the size of your fingers, the color of your skin. But it's taken us millions of years, and we never understood the evolution. In a space you don't have millions of years. We have to learn first how not to wear these funny clothes like astronauts, and understand we carry the clothes on our body. But there's a big problem. If you don't understand your soul, the operation of your soul, that it's got to be just and correct, you can never change the color of the skin. So your biggest enemy to change is you in a space. This is how, in fact, when you fly, when I came from the other city to here, we went up with a jet, the compression changed, we live in one atmosphere, we come down, they change it. I didn't go to school, I didn't go for training, I didn't go in 7 years in the bath to get on the plane, because the condition was prepared for us. Now, in man in a space, he has to prepare himself for the correctness of conduct in the space. Then you'll find out we all can fly from this place at any time with the tools and knowledge we have. The only thing which holds man on this planet is himself. Fear of unknown. I have challenged the space agencies for a long time. Let me teach one astronaut. Let me teach one man how to handle his soul. I drop him free in a space. He will never die. Because he has the potential to interact with the environment which is given, which is different than what is in. He will change into it. Go back on United Nations report. United Nations, some years ago, did a report. What is the origin of man? They took 10,000 samples from 10,000 women from 10,000 tribes around the world, just the saliva. All changes comes back through East Africa. Somewhere in East Africa, millions of years ago, the condition was right for the amino acid with all the minerals needed for a body of a man, with the water salt in a lake for life to start, which is us. This planet condition dictates kidneys to clean up the matter part of it. It needs a system to clean up the air part of it. We call it the lung. It needs a part of the storage, what it takes just in case if there is nothing, it's got the liver. And the rest of it is a sausage processing system. But they all feed the brain of the man how to change. So now how difficult it is for you to change. As I taught last week in our teachings, you cannot increase your fingers to 10 because the condition of this environment does not need more than 5. Your fingers are a point of energy taking and giving. So if I have 10, I give so much, I might need 3 legs, but 2 is good enough. But if I change your atmosphere in a space, in that environment, you go to a planet somewhere in a space, it might only need 2 fingers and no legs, because that's the condition we can survive in there, that is a balanced energy. Now we understand this. We are training scientists to change. We started 2 years ago in Canada. We developed it with the scientists in Switzerland. We see the changes. The only reason is you go back to eating, you go back to the same thing, because it's the condition of this planet which dictates this. If I change the environment, the way you came from West Africa or East Africa as a black, brown eye, and some of you are blue eye, some of you have brown hair, some of you got white skin, is because if you wouldn't change, you wouldn't understand the atmosphere, the condition of life on this part of this planet. We change to survive. Now, in a space, we'll change to live in a space. And this is what the technology is about. All this water, all this equipments and technology we release is a byproduct to help man to become independent, and then with it find his freedom in space. It won't take thousands of years. We are here to make sure it happens in a very short time. And it's strange enough, as I said to the African leaders, it's strange we started from Africa to spread on this planet. We come back to Africa to go to space. If you understand it, you understand the change has come. But it doesn't come as just Africa. It doesn't come as Romania or United States. Collectively, we have knowledge. We gathered this knowledge over millions of years, and now it's collectively to do it the right way. I have no fear of petroleum groups. I have no fear of Illuminatis, because, as I said to them, you left me too long to teach too much, to write too much, to go and spread the knowledge that now you can do nothing about it too much. You got a problem, you got a diabetic, you are at high blood pressure, you got a HIV. In Romania there is a lot of HIV. We have patients here. We have patients here with diseases you do not know. I monitor the Keshe Foundation Health section. Technology is there. They are free. You are free to use it. You are free to test it, use it, understand it. And if you're doctors or medically orientated, you have certification that you're alternative medicine, join the Keshe Foundation Medical. They teach you freely. You become part of the teaching because you bring your inspiration, you bring your test, your knowledge, your cases in. The minute you stop sharing is the minute you are a human race. And this is the ethos, the way we work. The minute you start sharing knowledge is the time when you develop to be as part of the race. Share it. Don't worry about it, because somewhere else the time will come. Thank you very much.
Voi citi întâi în română întrebările, după care le voi traduce domnului Keshe și vom afla răspunsurile. Primul bilet. Apa care a stat în contact direct cu ganțul de CO2, ganț de zinc, să zicem, este potrivită pentru consumul intern, Interacțiunea chimică între apă și ganț nu face apa respectivă dăunătoare pentru organism? Înțeleg că ganțul, în cantități mici, are aceste acțiuni terapeutice, dar această apă este potrivită pentru consumul intern?
We advise strongly not to drink or take GANS on its own. This is what we always say. But according to the test done by Japanese TEPCO tests on animals, they could not quantify. If you made the GANS before, you know, as you take water from it, it goes lower, but it stays there, it goes lower. You take the water, it gets more. And so they couldn't quantify it. Keshe Foundation is one of the main reasons that Fukushima has gone back into operation, because I supported it. I delivered a lot of technology to them for absorption of the radiation. And they flew in and out of Italy to take material and everything else. But they denied our existence till a few months ago. We cornered them because of a judge order, and they confirmed, yes, we worked for 2 years with Keshe Foundation. In the trials they did, now we are forcing them to open the books. They needed to quantify how much GANS, because a gram of GANS liquid doesn't mean it's a gram of GANS in it. So the only way they could quantify was to dry it, that now they could have grammage. And what they did, they gave this grammage as food to the mouse. And they've seen the result. Scientific world dries it to measures it. Now we are doing research in Tokyo, again by order of a judge, where we are testing both. We are testing measured quantity of GANS, water, and measured quantity of a GANS, dry. And the trial is going on as we speak today. What has been seen in TEPCO in past 3-4 years, the test they've done now, they use it for their workers, is when you drink the GANS water, it takes all the radiation material out of the body. And they measured everything which the mouse let out. And then they slaughtered the mouse. And they find no toxicity, zero toxicity in any organs. So the GANS, as it digested, does not show any toxicity in the organ of the animal. They kept this away from public. Then they gave radiation, high dose of radiation from reactor number 1 to the mouse again. But this time again they used only dried GANS. And they measured all the radiation which came out. They slaughtered the animal. There was no toxicity. The first case, they get influenza to the mouse, because in Fukushima, I've explained this many times before, once you get huge dosage of radiation from the reactors, they lose their immune system, and a lot of people were dying from simple influenza. So in the trial, they gave in the mouse the same dry powder for influenza. All the mouses which were given, they collected 30 mouse. They divided them in 5 groups of 6. One was the control system. One was given dry GANS with high level of the radiation from reactor number 1, mixture of all the radiation which was in there. The next group was given only radiation without the GANS, dry GANS. The ones who received the radiation without GANS, 4 died in the first day. The 1 survived to the 3rd day. The one which were given dry GANS, digested, all survived the 30 days. They sacrificed them, and they found no toxicity, no sign of radiation. But over 30 days, they watched all the radiation they were given as food at the same time as the others, was rejected by the body. The one with the influenza was the same. They put influenza with radiation to the mouse. They all died, and the ones with the influenza, with the radiation, all survived. No one died. Again, they came out with the conclusion that it does work in a powder state. I don't advise taking gas dry. But at this moment of time, we are testing trials in Tokyo University, both on dry and liquid gas, the water. We advise to take only the water. The water, you have to understand how you make the water. If you make a gas and you shake it, there's a bottle there. Can I have that bottle, please? You see, this is the water. You stirred it. The water, the gas goes in the bottom and the water goes on the top. But if you shake it, it's not a sediment. The water goes through spaces, the gaps, which is created by the gas. Gas is a single plasma. A plasma is like a magnet. It has to position itself. And as the water goes through, the water molecule absorbs all the energies which is lost in the process of the nature by the rain or whatever. So when you get the water to the top, all the plasma of the water is not a natural water anymore. Now it's a plasmatic water, has absorbed and is saturated with all the minerals it has. When you drink it, the habit of the plasma is, the habit of the world is, the stronger gives to the weaker. So wherever there is a shortage in your body, it takes from the plasma as you're drinking it. So you don't need to drink the gas. The water will do the same. But when you have a CO2, different energy levels in the plasma is filled up. When you drink it with a copper zinc, or you drink it with copper, different strengths are filled up. Now we understand the full technology. So whatever is missing in your body only takes. Gas is literally like a natural vitamin. It is a natural vitamin in operation. If you take a fruit which is full of vitamin C, it gets to the point that your body doesn't need anymore, the body rejects it because it doesn't need to store it. Same thing is with the gas. Body takes what it needs, the rest is rejected. What we see, people who take gas, who have deficiencies, is reported. The citations are, majority of the people report some sort of hemoglobin or blood in the urine the first 3 days. Then we see the reported citing, so this is from thousands of people, the first week, 2 weeks, they feel exhausted. They feel tired. They don't feel so good energy-wise. And then they start a natural process. We can explain this very easily. The gas replenishes and the body has to find a balance and make the cells to be what is needed. The first 3 days, it gets rid of whatever is damaged or whatever is not needed because it was stuck there because of the body holding. The next week, 10 days, body takes energy to replenish what is got rid of, which was the cause of the disease or whatever. And then it goes back to normality. The beauty with working in Ghana Atomic Commission is we can measure everything. All the research labs for you is a dream. For me, is less than 10 meters away. Biochemistry labs. Everything I want to measure, radiation labs. The beauty, why we are growing so beautifully in Ghana is I don't need to worry if I can test something and how much it's going to cost. Keshe Foundation Ghana Atomic, as partner inside Atomic, I want to know what this does, what is its energy, how much is acidic, how much is alkaline, how much bacteria can carry, what viruses it kills. For me, in 24 hours, it's on my table. So it's not a guesswork anymore. I was explaining to Giovanni, a lot of you made these pens. Can I have your bottle, please? Hello? Julian, can I have the bottle? You see, this bottle, in a different version, is sold on Keshe Foundation website. Now this is going on Keshe Foundation website because this solves another problem for us. You have a thing in your pocket. So what happens is that if you go on the Keshe Foundation website, you buy alkalizer. It's certificated CE certification on it. It gives you 8.4 to 9.2 alkalineness. You say the alkaline is good for a body, it stops the cancer. I can tell you why scientifically now. But what we did, everybody does it, but nobody put figures to it. Last week, 2 weeks ago, I said, you know guys, I want to know how much alkaline and what is the best alkaline level out of all the materials we make. We repeated, most of you do, CO2, zinc, with a copper wire in it, without the copper wire in it. And we found out, if you put a copper wire inside your tube, you reduce your alkalineness. Now we don't put any more in it. If you want to know why alkalineness helps with diseases, it's very simple. When you take sugar, when you take high energy, whatever, this increases the size of the lymph, which is part of the digestion energy transfer of your system, and it blocks the others to go through. It's a bigger lump. And this lump stops other entities like iron, plasma, or whatever to get stuck and form into it. And it causes cancer, or whatever you want to call it. With the alkalineness, because of the oxygen, which is the magnetic gravitational field of the gaseous part of this planet, you absorb this energy. The way what you do here, you put the water into this, and you transfer the energy from the gas into this. Now your body is 80% water. As you pass the water, which is different, it absorbs the energy which is stored because it's stronger to give to the weaker, depletes, you don't have diseases. Now we understand the process. So when they tell you alkaline water is good, because we didn't understand part of the science of the creation. In the matter state part of this planet, we all know the only magnetic thing is iron, or metals near to it. What we didn't know, in the gaseous part, there is a magnet too, which is oxygen. Now you mix the gaseous oxygen magnet with the earth magnet, which is the metal part. You understand, the two try to avoid each other. They create the fluid of blood. Now you understand how the blood flows in the body of the man. We can repeat it. Two magnets in the strength cannot match. So they switch to find a position, creates liquidity of the blood. Because we never understood. We are made of two parts. Gaseous part, which is our amino acid. The matter part, which is the metals and minerals, which is connected between the two, again by oxygen. In the water you have oxygen and a hydrogen. In the amino acid you have hydrogen and oxygen. They link up and they add other things to themselves. They become muscle, nerves, and everything else. Now we understand the true essence of creation. We can explain everything in reality what happens. Now what the Father told you, if you eat alkaline water is good for you, now we understand the process why. And to what alkalineness we can affect which metal. Not because it's alkaline as 7 is good, but if you have certain diseases, the metal, whatever is in the body, has a higher strength. You have to match near to it that you can deplete it. So you go to a higher level alkalineness, which means you increase the energy of the oxygen, that it creates a matching, but the heaviness of a cancer or whatever, trying to feed the weaker which is near to it, it depletes of the energy, cancer goes, because you change the environment. We understand more or less the whole structure of creation. So when you drink water, try to drink the water not the matter part of it. There are two things about it. When you finish or take the gans, it stays in your body. Then it has to give its energy as it needed. When you take the water as it's needed, it goes out of the body. You reject it faster. We know from the test from Fukushima, you don't hold on to any gases in your body. Doesn't matter water or matter. But you got to understand the process of creation, then you can do the rest of the understanding and explanation and the mixture of the rest. Nowadays, when we deal with cancer, we don't go and target the cancer. We create an environment around the cancer that cancer depletes itself on energy to give to the environment we created, so it's not there. But we have to find out what is the center which absorbs all the energy. Cancer has never been understood by human race, and that's our biggest fear. Now we understand. The doctors never understood. You give a blood test to a doctor, and you give a blood test to me, I explain to you what the cancer is, how it's caused, what's the reason of it, from the plasmatic point of view. The doctor says, you are the chemotherapy, we've got to cut that piece out, and it's gone to the other part. Cancer is created in three ways. One is, but what we talked, when your ancestors came from Africa, and all of us, evolution hasn't stopped. We are part of the evolution even today. There is a biggest evolution going on now that society has created it, and us as men, human beings, are blind to it. It took evolution millions of years to bring women to go to menopause around age of 30, 35. And in 2 generations, we have changed the menopause to 55, 60, and we're looking at 80 in some countries. Why? We are part of that evolution. We created it. Why? Because of what I said, our emotion is a cause of our change. Up to 100 years ago, a woman, if he didn't have a husband to support, or a man to be able to support the children, stopped reproduction because she couldn't support the child. The man was there to support the food or hunting. The woman was there to bring the child up. So when a man gets old, wasn't there was no need. I stopped the reproduction because it takes too much energy. You call it menopause. Now, you women have found a community of men to look after you. Us men, we are all your husbands. Because we pay social security, we pay for the hospital, we pay for a doctor. If something happens to your husband, you go to the government, we pay you because all the men have worked and paid taxes. Now you're at ease. Oh, I can have children as much as I like. So we are going through an evolution, emotional evolution, and we are not aware of it. What do we see? It's next, you blocked everybody. You better sit there. So we are still going. The evolution hasn't stopped. The condition of Fukushima has brought a new evolution to us physically. We're all going to change because of Fukushima. Because the radiation level is so much. So environmental condition is causing a new cancer. If you don't want to change or something changes inside you the body cannot do, a new energy level is created in your body which is not the same as the others but absorbs a lot of energy. So if this becomes the center, the seed of the oyster, like a pearl. You know how the pearl is made? A little dust goes inside and then the animal starts covering it. It becomes pearl. Now the new energy center, which is created by environment in your body energy, becomes a new cell. So, and it starts pearling. Now, what we look, when I get a blood test, I look to see what is highest. Iron is very high. Copper is very high. There is a high calcium. Now I know the center of the cancer is that material. 99% we are correct. So we do two things. The Chinese Keshe foundations with the doctors in China have found a way that with certain condition application of the GANs, you can take the layers of the cancer, that peeling off. You go down by 80%. Then you create a gravitational magnetic field of, let's say, elevation is in iron, a plasmatic transaction between the two sides of the body of the man. If this is a, for example, can I put this away? If this is the, let's say, the cancer with the iron in the center, and these layers of the cancer, we reduce it to that much. Now we know here the center is iron. We put the body into transfer of energy of the iron, and the same way as you transfer energy in the body, we transfer the energy of the iron out of the body. So now we take the center out. We take the center out, the whole thing collapses. It takes 60 days. I can show series of videos taken by doctors. The trials are going across the planet. Then you have a cancer which is emotional, which is 60-70% of our cancers. Our emotion, the way I said, you feel, you change, you can change your skin. Our emotion affects what we store, and that creates a new structure. Instead of change of the color of the skin or raise of the finger, it becomes another organ inside us, we call it a cancer. That you treat the same, but you don't go and empty it, you elevate the emotion first, which causes it. You support the emotion with zinc oxide, that the body might find a solution, and suddenly you hear a lot of people say, I had cancer and I took this thing and disappeared. It worked with you because with it, you most probably touched the level of the emotion which created it. The other part of it is accidental cancer. Accidental cancer comes out of mainly nowadays, majority of it out of operation in operating rooms. We see cancers with major operations afterwards. They disturb the layers, the body is not used to it, and it creates it. You get a knock, a dent created somewhere, energy changed, then it becomes cancer. Now we understand the process. And it is wonderful if you go and sit as doctors and listen to the doctors on Wednesday afternoon when they teach each other what they discovered. They tell you they can manage to even take the iron which comes out as an element, they find it on the body of the dog. This is one of the leading scientists in plasma technology. The report comes daily. So, do you drink it? Why you drink it? Does it gas need it? Why do you store energy when you don't need it? Because now, the other problem is if you keep on drinking your gas, you got to keep on making gas, and it takes too much time. You keep your gas, you use the water, it goes for 2,000-3,000 years. You can give it to your grandchildren as it's a food from grandma. This is the reality. This is how in Ghana we are producing 2,000 to 3,000 liters per day, and the production is going to 100,000 liters per week. We do not produce GANs for everything. We have placed huge tanks. We mix with the water on the regular basis, the GANs, and when we see it depleted, we feel after 2 or 3 times, we take the GANs out, we put it in the mother tank, we hold 200 or 300 liters of it, and we put new ones in. We keep on replenishing it. And it seems to be working better than when we made it the first time. It more balances. So don't drink it as itself, but the water does the same thing. If you need the energy, you receive it. But you have to understand what it is, what the problem is. A lot of you make pain patches, which is the gas water, you put it on the toilet tissue, and you put it in a plastic and you put it on your body. This is called the pain patch. You come to Keshe Foundation, I sell it to you at €40, a fancy looking Italian design. I sell you a Ferrari. But the many will do the same job. All you need, you put a gans water of CO2, mixture of the others, on a toilet tissue, put it in the plastic bag, the zipper, you know, the one you buy, you seal the bag in. But a lot of people say, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Yes, because you don't do it properly. Get a gans of CO2, some of your hand, rub it on your skin, and then put a patch. Give me one night. The ones who can't even walk, they'll run. You have to know how to use the system. We had one of the presidential family in the factory 2 or 3 weeks ago. She said, you know, with all the presidential campaign for past 8 months, for nearly a year, I cannot walk anymore. And she was sitting under my table. I made her a patch, and she went. She called back next day, our people, says, I now walked from such a station to such a station, nearly 2 kilometers. I couldn't walk before. She said, I have to come and see Mr. Keshe. She comes in, she goes like this under the table, she says, look at my shoes. I said, that's funny thing. She says, I wear heels. I could now wear heel shoes, and I love to wear heel shoes. You gave me my life back. I'm a woman again. Cost less than 20 cents. Understand how to use it. Doesn't mean it doesn't work. If it doesn't work, it means you have to change the technique to find out what is missing. It's not what you think. You have a back pain. A lot of you carry back pain. Make yourself a patch. Rub the same 2 toilet rolls, or you like very fancy, if you're very rich, use a kitchen roll. Put the water in it, juice the water out, close the zip, put a CO2 water, not the gans, on your body, and sleep on it. Wrap it with a tie overnight. I'll see you in 2 days' time. You don't need these big operations, all the pains you get. Understand how to use it. And when you learn it, go on the Romanian websites or whatever and put it up. This is what I did, because English people don't understand what you say. And there is so much data coming from all over the world that is becoming unbearable. We were told by national securities that if we put all the Keshe Foundation traffic which is going around the world, you'll become #1 worldwide. Because there is so much knowledge is shared and given. People are there. In China, we carry at least 100 million supporters. We have become one of the most powerful scientific organizations in the world. And the thing is, world leaders listen to it. They use it at home. Because we shared it freely, we are achieving what we started. I have no problem if I die today, because I've done what I came here to do. I always say, if I can save a life of a woman, which has happened in the United States, 36 years old, with 3-year-old child with a breast cancer, breast in the lung and breast in the backbone, and the doctors can't find anything at all after 60 days, I've done my job. The child has a mother. Thank you very much. No more question?
Lots of them.
Carry on. I have a flight, I have to leave at 2 o'clock, but I have to go to the hotel to get my suitcase. Till then I can answer you. As you see, sorry about we are like this. We were in another town. We couldn't get back last night. So they brought us directly from the airport. Our clothing and everything is in the hotel here in Bucuresti, and we had to come, otherwise it would have been here 11 or 12 o'clock.
If we go to 12 o'clock, it's okay.
Pardon?
If we go to 12 o'clock from here, it's okay.
No problem. You are the driver. I just say yes. Carry on, please.
Thank you very much. We have some colleagues who have already made some of the devices. We have a health helmet here, the coil device, another device. And we got the schematic of it if you want to take a look.
I don't understand this.
I will start with the questions that
Yeah.
and then if they want, they can come and you can discuss the
No problem.
schematic if you
Let me
feel.
tell you something while we're in a topic. There are a lot of women here. Some of you must have heard what I said, some of you haven't heard, but I repeat it because I think it's important to say. You have the unfortunate draw of the luck to become a woman. We have the fun, you pay for it. A lot of you can stop breast cancer. A lot of you can stop the development of the breast cancer if you understand the reason majority of the time it happens. I teach this frequently, but we do it because we have a proof of it. The only thing you need to know, otherwise I'll take another half an hour to explain to you how it happens. The day before your menstruation, the day of your menstruation, and the first day after your menstruation, just take a tablet of calcium. You save yourself damage to your hip when you're 50, 60. You save yourself from a possible breast cancer. 2 seconds, I explain to you how it happens. I always say, we are here as a party. If the organizers bought all the drinks and the sandwiches here and nobody turned up, what happens? They put the drinks and the sandwiches in the fridge and in the cupboard till the next meeting. And then they bring it out. It's the same with the body of a woman. Body of a woman celebrates life with a party every month. It makes everything available for the coming of a child. Zinc, copper, magnesium. It doesn't wait that you get pregnant and it goes, oh, where is the magnesium? It stores calcium in the hip because it's an easy reach. It's already changed from the matter to gans. So it's easy for it near the womb, it takes some. Every month it takes some. This taking some, after 50 years, comes a lot. What you have in your body is more or less a bone with a lot of holes in it. Makes it available for the party. You don't get pregnant. But by the habit of the brain, the way we are tuned, it stores this calcium, which the birth didn't happen, somewhere because it's already converted into the gans, it might be needed, back in where it might the child need when it gets born. It's in the breast of the woman. So the calcium in the gans state transfers from your hip into your breast. Because that's why you need, when a child is born, needs the maximum amount of calcium for the bone structure. It's there, it's stored. We don't see that much breast cancer in African nations because of the sexual habits. Now we see in the young ages because of two things. Wearing of very tight bras, and the highest rate of cancer we see in the breast cancer with women now is mobile phones. A lot of girls have a habit, put it in the bra. That, due to the frequencies and the radiation which comes, seeds up the cancer. We see a lot of cancer with young boys. They put the phone between their legs, just reading it. Immediately interacts with testicles. We see high rate of cancer now, especially in the modern nation, with men and some girls on the top of the bone, which is very unusual. We hardly could see cancers. It was very rare in non-organ part of the body. Mobile phones are creating a lot of cancer in the upper bone, especially on the femur. We see cancer on the backbone where the people put their mobile phones. These are not getting reported, but we get a lot of patients. So we see the pattern as an independent organization. So now you have the breast full of calcium. If it's through the stress, or is it through the bra, or is it through the microphone, solidifies and start the process of cancer. And if you want me to show you, it's very ugly. when it happens. And a lot of women look at it, oh, it's just something there. They don't touch it. It'll go away. It doesn't go away. The minute you see something wrong with your breast, first thing, walk to a doctor. Because what happens, it can come out or internally bleed. When you're under higher stress, emotional stress, you're born with a lot of emotional stress, test your breast frequently, because the emotion sits on, it releases itself, because you don't want to reproduce. The line of reproduction, first thing you don't want to do is another life live, the horrible life of I live. You can't take your ovary out, but you can cut off the breast, and that's where the cancer appears. Understand the process, you can help yourself a lot.
So the questions are regarding the health device. The first one is, how is it most suitable to power it up with direct current or alternating current?
We don't current it at all. You create yourself a plasma battery, which a lot of you know, and you allow to do it. There's a company set up called Keshe Foundation Austria, which is responsible for the manufacturing of the health unit. If you are health orientated, the access to them is free. They teach, they develop, and they work. But you have to understand it. The new plasma systems used for a lot of cases is these tubes. You're wearing one. Can I have yours, please? Your band. Yeah. The tube. The tube. These tubes now has become very traditional, but with bigger sizes, the people go around it. Or if they have a problem, they sit inside it, and they transfer. They have done some tests in United States. After you take it out, still effects for a couple of days still there. So we don't use power or energy. I don't advise it. But if you create a plasma condition current flow, which is a plasma battery, it's very simple to make, you create a condition. When you deal with any health issues with plasma, the golden rule is understand what a plasma is. The weaker always get fed from the stronger. You can give to, or you can take out of. Depends what you do. When you make a patch, you have a problem, you get a glass of water and you measure. You use a patch in the front, you use a patch in the back. You always put double the amount in the patch in the back, and you put half of the amount of the back in the front. You create a gradient flow. And where the damage is, gives or takes energy from the flow. That's how it works so effectively. This is how the plasma works. You have to create two different, and you put what you want to change in the middle. If it's higher, it takes from the higher. If it's lower, it gives to the lower. And then you have the change of environment. We don't cure, we process. We replicate the work of the universe. That's why there is not one way to create and one way to change. I always say, look in the sky and see how many stars do you see. There are that many ways for body of the man to change. So you can't say it worked on me because you have managed to find the right length, but man has a bandwidth of fields. It works on most of us. If it doesn't, it means you have to find the bandwidth of the field, the strength of the plasma. It works fantastic with the viruses. We have shown this in Atomic Commission. Any virus you put on the table, give me 10 seconds. Because now we understand what is the difference between a virus, a microbe, and infection. The reason up to now the doctors have a problem with viruses, and they are horrendous, Ebola, E. coli, and whatever you want to call it, even HIV, why we say we are effective in HIV is because now we understand what a virus is. It's not why the doctors keep on giving antibiotics. Say, you got a virus, we can't do, you got to wait till it goes away. That's right, because it gives its energy so much to other bits that it runs out of energy. That's how it works. You take a GANS, it runs out of the way very quickly. Because now we know virus is not amino acid based, but is an energy pack which attaches itself to the amino acid. So when you create a water which is magnetic gravitational field based, when you take it, you deplete it very quickly because it has to give or take from it. Virus is gone. The test done with the government of Sierra Leone was so effective with E. coli and Ebola that the World Health Organization confiscated all the materials in the presidential palace. They could not believe there is such a simple technology, just water destroying all the viruses. It did not make money. And strange enough, the officer who confiscated the name of World Health Authorities appeared in an American university 2 months later, publishing a new paper, we have found how we can handle E. coli. Sir, we had your name, you took it from the office of the president because you confiscated everything. Go on the internet, you find the name of the professor, you find the name of the university. It's one of the top universities in the United States. The president of country, the ambassador, the head of the National Bank called me, we are friends. He said, Mehran, we are getting devastated by this disease. I said, it's very easy. Put me in line with South University, Sierra Leone University. We are friends. I've given lectures there. I tell them what to do. They know. On the phone, I gave them direction how to make it. They made it, they tested it, and it worked. They were called to come to the presidential palace to show that they found a solution. The World Health Authority officers, they checked it, there on the spot, they confiscated it. And they told the professors, if you leak this, you lose all your position in the universities. They came back and says, Mehran, we lost it. I said, how did you lose anything? You made it yourself, make another one. So they start helping people with Ebola, E. coli in the area, and nobody had any more. All they did, they just gave them the water. Because now we understand how the virus works. When we say it works on HIV, because HIV is a spectrum of energies which attaches itself to certain amino acid. All you need to do, put a pad in the front. We are doing very effectively in Togo. Togo is infested with HIV. No problem. You drink some of the gas water, you use the patches, you wash yourself with it, you cook with it because it doesn't change its character. In 30 days, they can't find it. They came, the doctors, the scientists from the government came to the house of people. They say, what are you using? There is a magic here. But they don't say it's all water everywhere, because they're not used to seeing cure in the water. Togo Keshe Foundation is very effective in. Now we have found even malaria with one of our team. One of our senior management has been suffering from malaria. He's been in hospital forever. I made him a mixture. He was with me a few weeks ago. He says, Mr. Keshe, it's gone. It's the first time, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, I have no more malaria. He's joining me in Rome because he's not in the hospital. Understand what it is. It's not the magic. Understand the concept. I understand the principle. You can do it. The reason I developed this technology for viruses because in a space we don't have microbes. We don't have germs because they are amino acid based. Amino acid is a characteristic of the atmosphere of this planet. The only thing we're going to get is energy packages which they match themselves to our amino acid, then we get viruses. So very easy. I don't need to come back to FDA here in United States. I got this virus. Can you sort me out? No, thank you. I just drink water. I know what it comes. I balance the energy. This technology is a space technology, and it's tailor-made for a space. So, any viruses. Now we are working with the new viruses with the birds. Italian, have lost 30,000 turkey a few weeks ago. We didn't get there on time. But Czech Republic Keshe Foundations are giving CO2 as a water to their birds. They've lost only one out of old age. They don't use any more antibiotic. Today, we've signed a contract, we've been paid for. We're developing the technology in Ghana to export a system into Italy where the farmers don't need to give any more antibiotic to their cows. It's the first time Africa is sending farming technology into Europe. I've received the money, it's in the Keshe Foundation. They said, why don't you do it in Keshe Foundation Italy? Because I said, they don't respect this. When it comes from Africa, they listen to me. We have a factory in Italy. I can produce it there. But no, because now, let it come, it's African, it doesn't work. But we know it does. They are spending 40,000 a year only on antibiotic for the cows. We have guaranteed them 0 antibiotic. That's our contract. We have signed a contract ourselves because we're so confident we can do it. And we said one thing else. Whatever you get increase in the milk, we want half of it. Whatever you save on the food, we want half of it too. Because it's very simple. When the cow is happy, it takes the energy from the water it drinks every day, so it doesn't need the food because it works on the balance. So my contract with this farming organization, and there are how many more attached to them? There are 10,000 more farmers attached to this. Once this goes, we sell 10,000 units, and it all comes from Ghana. Because we try to understand the process. If I tell you what this does, you've got to ask why. If I cannot explain it, I have to find out how plasma reacts. In Ghana, it's in my mobile, I have only 2% left. They left us in a hotel with no charger last night. I would have shown it to you. We have developed a technology, a very simple technology. You can walk to the river, which is infested. You put the water. As it goes through, no bacteria, no anything which can be harmful, and you can drink the water. And we can save a lot of life this way. It costs, I don't know, $50, and you can take it anywhere in Ghana. Now, Ghana Keshe Foundation is supporting the technology in Norway. Salmon industry, fishing industry in Norway has a lot of problem. You think women get breast cancer from psychological depression from their husband? You don't want to know about the fishes. It's worse. Talabo fish in Africa is the fish which is the most useless fish to eat because it doesn't give anything, it has no omega-3. But because of the change of condition, they get a kind of disease, the left eye grows, and then they get like cancer pieces and they die. We have developed a technology. The ambassador of Ghana in Norway is a consultant in the fishing industry in Norway too. So now we're exporting fishing knowledge from Keshe Foundation in Ghana into Norway to saltwater salmon, because salmons have the same disease as the fish in Africa, because they are encaptured, they are enclosed in tanks, so psychologically they show reaction. This disease we didn't know till 1975. Since the heavy fish farming has started, this disease, we see a lot of fishes get diseases. And now we're just adding some GANS water, and some actually, we drop waters like this, we don't put even GANS in it, we just GANS waters, we let the fishes fish around it, and it gives them peace of mind. I accept the condition, so I don't need to have a cancer. So simple, understanding it. Try to understand the process. I'm not here to teach. I'm here to enlighten you for you to start teaching yourself and the others the way you understand it. The teaching time is finished. We are here to enlighten. And then if you understand it, it touches your soul, you teach yourself.
Before going back to the other technical questions, I will try to summarize some of those, because you've been talking about a lot about healing and many of the questions that have arrived are asking for treatment for certain diseases. And I guess a way to summarize this would be, if you need treatment right away and you haven't yet the time to learn how GANS works, do you have a contact or somewhere that these people can address the questions
Go to Keshe Foundation. Keshe Foundation website changes in next week or so. We had a huge problem with our website for 2 years. We paid a lot of people a lot of money and they just took it and they disappeared. Now we are doing it ourselves. Go to the section called Testimonials. Go to a page called Golden Age of GANS. There is a lot of testimonials in there. Find for the disease you're looking for. They give you advice, they tell you what they've done. And now, in the coming time, maybe by Friday this week, maybe when we have a conference in Rome, Keshe Foundation has opened its own wiki. Do you know what it is, Wikipedia? We have opened a Keshe Foundation, it's called KF Wiki or Plasma Wiki. Anything you want to know is getting linked. If you find something new in the health, you tested something and it worked, just go into the wiki, put the knowledge in, the moderators will bring it up. So we're becoming, as I said, one of the most powerful scientific organizations, so we are building to cater for everything. You can go to the testimonials, or you go to the KF Wiki and you find your way in the disease and the testimonials and how people have done it. Doesn't mean necessarily work with you, but it gives you a guideline. It's something like 30,000, 40,000 testimonials around. We know Chinese have their own testimonials. There in China runs into millions because they are teaching each other. They are mixing the traditional herbal medicine and the GANS plasma, and they're achieving amazing results because its back herb is a GANS itself when it goes in the water of it, so it carries the plasma in a different way in the body. Go to Keshe Foundation. Even today, you can go, if you find your testimonial section, or what do you call it, Golden Age of GANS is one of the best ones because I send everybody there and they're putting a lot. There is thousands of, depends what the disease is. And if you still have a problem, you can go at health. We don't treat, we process. Treating is a job of doctors. We are scientists, we process the material. And the body processes the disease. Testimonial, very easy, and if you find something new. A lot of you get a lot of burn in the house. You know, you touch a hot pan, you burn yourself. Keep a bottle of CO2 GANS and just with a little bit of touch of copper oxide GANS liquid, not itself, just the plasma of it, and wash your hand with it. It burns for a few minutes. When it heals, there are no scars, there is nothing. We are testing this in 37 Army hospital for burn in Ghana. People with a massive burn, accident burn, they just use the GANS, they drink it and they wash their hand. The burn plays 3-4 times a day. When it's healed, there is no scars, 0 scars left. It doesn't show any more scars. And the healing is painless. From the time you lose the pain after the application, you don't feel any more pain for the rest of the time the full healing is done. The whole process of reproduction. Because what you do, you reconnect the nerves which to us create a current as pain. They find their own connection and it's not there anymore. People live normal life. One of the scientists in Ghana very recently was involved in a fire in the lab. And the first thing they did, they called us, they said, can we have some of that water? Our colleague is in the hospital. They took it to the hospital, said they can't use it here. So when he came out, they're washing him. It's just going. CO2 gas water is one of the best remedies for burn with a touch of CO. Remember one thing, whenever you use gases like in patches, always add a certain amount of copper oxide, Cu, 10% or so into the water because it kills most of the bacteria and the germs. So you don't find fungus patches in your system. Even when you make things like this material here in the spiral, you need a little touch of gas of copper oxide. Copper is the connection to the muscle amino acid tissue, and the life does not link to it. That's why. We understand. It's not that it just does it. If you go into the latest hospitals in Europe or in America, you find the operating washing room is nothing but pure copper. Everything is copper. Because copper, now scientifically we know, is connected to the red tissue, cannot exist if it links up with another copper. So it depletes its energy, bacteria cannot grow. So understand the principle, the rest works for itself. Go to Wikipedia, go to Keshe Foundation Wiki, it's called KF Wiki. It's supposed to be operational this week. It's a lot of scientists, especially the Keshe Foundation, the health section of Wiki is totally monitored, written by doctors. Doctors of the Keshe Foundation, any diseases they're handling, they're putting in. So you get the knowledge from the people who are involved with it. Agriculture section is done by people who are involved with it. The head of the Keshe Foundation Agriculture, Dr. Guata, is an agriculture economist from American University. So he monitors everything with it. If you are in other places, you just need to go into the right section. You find it in Keshe Wiki. And try to translate it to Romanian. We give you all the things. If you open the Keshe Foundation Romania, the way we've done with everybody else, we give you a template. The new website is so beautiful. It's not the way you want to do it or it was done before. It's very dynamic. People don't need much. All the Keshe Foundation, all my teachings have been translated automatically to 12 languages within 48 hours. And they'll get transcribed in English within 2 days. So if you don't understand it, you can paste and copy and translate to Romanian. Language should not be a barrier to the science, and we're trying to make it that way. Any other question?
There are a lot of more questions, but we will send them to you via email. We have
I don't read any. I receive nearly about 1,000 emails a day. Selective, we see.
I think you have been comprising enough. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you for your time. If there's any questions you want to ask direct, we give you a chance for a few minutes.
I have a question.
Yes. No wonder she moves here. 1 second.
I want to be closer to be the first person which can hear your answer. So I want to ask you, which was the inspiration of your extraordinary discoveries? From where everything started?
I worked from age of 8, 9 to discover gravity. I remember lying, I've said this many times, I remember lying on the roof when the first man went to the moon. And I said, they've gone the wrong way. This is not the way to go. And I knew gravity was the problem. It took me till a lot of work, till around about 2000. And I remember when it came, when I understood, stupid boy, it was in front of you all the time, you didn't see it. And I remember I got up, my wife was sitting in the room with me, and I sat in one corner and started crying. I said, I found it. I realized gravity and magnetic is the same thing. We don't look for it. Depends which way it's going. If it goes the same direction, it repels, it becomes atmosphere. If it goes opposite direction, one can flow through the other, is gravitated. They link up because it's the shortest path. And I'm a actor, And then I've worked with the Iranian government to build the first space system, which was done 8 years ago, 9 years ago. And that was a changing point, I remember, because before that, we had the experience with my wife. My wife put a candle on the table, on a chair, behind the door, and he said, I want you to look and concentrate on the light. And I said, I am the light. And the candle, nearly a kilo, just flew up. Next question. There is a question there.
My question is about the similarity between the transfusion with seawater and your system of waters.
You can still use the water. The seawater you can use. A lot of people make GANs of seawater. And I have no problem with it. But I say, when you make your GANs, you know what you created. It's copper or zinc. When you make a GANs of seawater, it's very much the same color as this. Every element from the poo of the fish to the bone of the man who sank, to every element is inside it. You have no control. You don't know what energies you're dictating to control. So the body, the sea makes all the sea. Let me explain to you something very interesting when you say that. The biggest hypocrisy at the moment has been, they say the oil is going to run out and the prices are going higher. If you knew what I know, what I'm going to tell you, you're going to kick yourself. The more we breathe, the more human race are here, the more oil we produce. The more we disturb the seas, that the elements are stirring. You've seen when you have a zinc plate and a nano-coated copper, the oil comes on the top. You've all seen the amino acid if you made it. Earth makes oil, amino acid all the time. If it gets mixed up with the sea turning, and it gets mixed up with all the elements, the way life has started, and it doesn't get eaten up, it goes to the bottom, it sinks in. So every day we produce millions of barrels of oil, and it'll never run out. If you make a GAN system, you see it yourself. And if you understood, I told you how the blood is made and how muscles are made. So next time they tell you it's going to run out, the oil prices have got to go higher, tell them, I know how to make it myself. We are testing. You can actually tailor-make oil for your car at home if you want to use it. Because now you can make it, you don't need to refine it. You can make it. The new development in Keshe Foundation is the coils which you show. If you fire coat nanomaterial, copper coil, you give, if you put it in your car, you don't need to connect it anywhere. Make your coils, which is made, nano coated with fire, follow the instruction, go on the BQ or go on the nano coating, and put this in your car, you find the performance changes up to 30%. If you nano coated with a caustic, you find your performance drops because it's again absorbing energy. That's why some of you, when you made the coils and you made MAGRAF system, says it doesn't work, and some of you say you get a good result. Because now we understand which way you nano-coated it and which direction you nano-coated it. So oil will never run out, and the more of us we create, if you become 14 billion, they'll find 20 billion barrel more oil every day. Because we produce it, our breathing system dictates it, because we breathe some of it out and it gets absorbed into the atmosphere. So water GANs of the sea, you have a mixture. It's a lottery. If the water was radioactive on it or whatever, you still convert it to a GANs. But when you produce individual GANs you have control over, you know what you're making. Thank you very much. Yes?
Sir, we have an alternative therapy center. We would love to reproduce the system you have in Ghana and to offer people the bottles of water for the major diseases. What is the shortcut for this?
Talk to me later on. There are people like there and others here, they can show you how to make it. We produce about 100,000 liter, we geared up 100,000 liter a month. But you have to watch. that you do not deliver it as a healing water. You deliver it as a drinking water. They can test it, they can do everything with it, they don't find anything in it. It's the energy which is hidden in it. I had the pleasure to come in touch with a couple of scientists very recently where they start measuring the plasma. We can say what plasma is for the nerves, whatever it is, and it takes a few more months. But you're quite welcome. All you need to do is to produce the gases of CO2, copper oxide, and the others. And we produce about 200 liters a month of the gas because we targeted 1 million bottles a month. And freely, can I have my mobile phone? I'll show you how we marketed it. It's the way FDA wanted it. Food and Drug Administration officers wanted it. It's the way the standard board, which authorizes the release, wanted it. That it's a clear water, and I can show it to you. 1 second, if I have any battery left. And it's very easy. It should not cost you more than €1 a bottle. And it changes life, because we do it heavily, but you got to understand, you offer people the option to do it themselves. By law, what you do in the house cannot be touched. You can do whatever you like in the house to yourself. But once you put it on the street, as a drinking water, people get to know this water. Let me explain to you something very simple. You understand how this technology is very similar to what we all know. I'm sure here in Romania, there are places where you go and take water for eye or nerve or whatever diseases. Am I correct? Nature has done what you do in the box. Now we know what it does. Water passes in certain places where the field is equal to the strength of the, for example, the eye, the liquid of the eye. So when you drink it, you do the same thing. That's all the secret is. Now you can create these things yourself. We replicate the work. And it's a pleasure to show you. This was released just about last Sunday. That's called Atomic Keshe Foundation. We got the university. They have given us the university building for the Keshe Foundation. And if I find it, I'll show it to you. It looks, if you want to come close, it's somewhere here, because there it is. This is how the bottles are getting marketed. You can have a look at it if you want to bring the camera close. This is sold as drinking water. And you can see it, it says Plasmagy. This is past certification. We can show it for the first time in public because now it's been received authorization to be certified. By all the tests, everything has shown to be correct. You see it says Plasmagy, it says Ramagy. So people decide what drink they want, but we say, if you drink with that water is like going to this fountain and that fountain. This is the way it works.
Mr. Keshe, how the autoimmune disease react with your...
What is the cause of autoimmune? What is it? Which part? Autoimmune system diseases or problems, what you call it, comes from the unfunctioning of the bone. We got to understand what it means. Autoimmune means you have a problem with your immune system. All our immune system comes from our bone marrow, 99%. Every bone in the body produces certain kind of autoimmune, depending in where they are. Your chest bone produces, in a way, materials which is needed continuously by the lung because you absorb so much rubbish all the time. The body cannot keep on producing immune system. So what the body has done, has caged it. Your bone in the front has a different characteristic plasmatic field than the back, and it matches the environment. So it's exactly what I did with you. You put the man in the middle, you put the two patches. The life has done it naturally for us. You understand? So our autoimmune system, when you have a lung problem which is autoimmune based, you have to look at the bone marrow which is inside the bone. Other bone marrows, other condition of autoimmune, you have to see where it comes from, and most of it is on the femur. Our body absorbs plasma as lymph. It goes through your bone. Your bone is a maze of passages, and each maze has a certain size. So if you got an autoimmune problem in certain part of the body, passage to this strength is blocked. This is why chemotherapy doesn't work. Chemotherapy expands the size of the cell, it blocks the passage, and then your body doesn't make an immune system, and you die 5 years later because of a small cold, but not because of the cancer. That's why I promote chemotherapy very heavily, because now we developed the technology, we reduce the size of the lymph before it approaches the bone, it goes through, and your body protects itself. Because life is a very simple structure. You drink water, you eat food. If you eat a banana, banana doesn't go through your body, through your stomach. In your body, in your stomach, chemicals are exactly like the caustic which you do. They change the material to nanostructure, GANs, what they call it, and then the acidity part of it works as a salt, which creates the GANs, which is the body needs as energy, and as it passes the intestine, the energy transfers across the wall of the body, and that energy energizes the lymph. And if you put too much energy in the lymph, it blows up as a balloon. So when this energy is attracted to your bone, to go through to become to a bone marrow, to become your immune system, T cells, B cells, now it cannot go through the hole which is supposed to. And you block the hole now. What do? When you have a shower and the water doesn't come, the calcium is, you block it, the water doesn't come, you poke a hole in it. You cannot do with that. So the passage for that strength amino acid for the T cells, it gets blocked, then you create immune deficiency. You have to find out what it is, which part of the body it affects, find scientifically which bone produces that amino acid, you call it T cells, B cells, and then repair it. Just create a condition to reduce the size of it, and it goes away, and the immune system works perfectly. I do that quite often. You're welcome.
So I'm sure, Mr. Keshe, that all doctors which are here in this hall at this moment are looking forward for another meeting with you. So
I'm not coming back.
God is
Not
great,
yet.
so
God
who
is
knows?
great. We never know. I didn't know last week I'm coming to Romania. This man said we're going there. I said, yeah, book the ticket, we go.
So yes, the things which are talking about, they are very interesting, they are very special indeed. Now, because we are in a shortage of time and you are in need to leave this hall, we want to thank you very much for all these special things which you gave us, which you share with us, and for the last minutes which you can be here, we invite you for offering us an interview for our TV broadcast online. And let us be convinced and looking forward that we will have another meeting with you.
We hope so.
Now we are very well aware about the questions which we can point exactly what we need to know, especially from the doctor's point of view. I'm also a doctor, and you just stimulate my appetite to find out more and more things about it. And now we want all of us to thank both of you very much to be here with us, and we already miss you.
Thank you very much. Okay. It was a pleasure to be here. Maybe maybe we want to keep this secret, but this secret we know is not going to stay a secret for a long time. As you know, I am moving back away from the foundation and moving totally into research space, because I want to take man into a space in the next 12 months. To do that, it meant I have to pass on a lot of management of the Keshe Foundation to highly competent people who could manage such a big organization. The Keshe Foundation has different sections. We have a Keshe Foundation, which literally runs the whole structure of what you see as a front of the Keshe Foundation. We have KEF SSI, which is the education, the institute, the teaching you see daily goes on. If you don't know, Keshe Foundation teaches every week, 9 to 5. We have students who register. And then we have a Spaceship Institute, which is the launch pad, and that's what we are doing. We're going into the space. And then we have different sections. The most important part of this foundation organization is the Keshe Foundation, which is backbone and has been where I headed for years. In the past 4 or 5 months, as I am moving away and putting more management, top management in the hand of, that I don't interfere anymore with the daily work of the KF as such, we are bringing competent people who can do it. And you're all Romanian, and if you're close to Keshe Foundation, you know the Keshe Foundation management, the whole of KF is gone to a Romanian. You know Ella? Ella is the head of the Keshe Foundation. She's taken my place. So support her. Thank you very much.
Before that we go away, I want to say really thank you to the master, Gregorian, and for all the people that during this year are in touch with me, like Zoli, Doru, Julian, but Constantine, and other like Flores, Floriano, and so on, that helped me to set up all this success. And I now really move. I really move for this happening because it's too big, and now I want to help you, all of you, to set up a structure for the teaching, for the research, and for the manufacturing here. So I think that it's necessary to keep in touch more. I try to do my best for do this, and we'll see to the next conference what's happened. Thank you so much to you. Thank you.